Welcome everybody to episode 5 of the Lure Fishing Podcast, and I have the Scarlet Pimpernel with me.
I have been elusive.
You have been elusive.
I've been elusive.
Can I just apologise to everybody at the beginning?
Go on.
We've had rum and ice as a
Smidge.
pre-podcast snifter,
Smidge.
haven't we?
Yes, I may be free with my words.
I think I overdid the amount of Kraken that we put into the glasses. So, did you hear that?
Yeah.
The headphones crack. Anyway, so we apologise now. Put a disclaimer in now.
I apologise for Andy. On his behalf.
Anything we say, we don't mean too much. Yeah. Anyway, so that's it, really. The podcast has ended before it started.
There you go.
It is. Because most people watch the first 2 minutes who are going to watch the podcast, or watch any videos, can I drop in the fundraiser at the beginning so everyone's collared? Do you mind?
No, go for it.
So everybody, done it on purpose, do apologise. My mate Alex Bates has put together a little package for anybody that's into a bit of match fishing. So this is not lure fishing, this is match fishing. For £2 a square, you can go into a raffle and win a Daiwa Tournament S match rod. It's 11'6", so it's ideal for waggler fishing on the narrow drains. Second place gets a Daiwa goodie bag, and third place gets a Saiwai goodie bag. So if anybody out there who lure fishes is into their match fishing, this might be suitable. So it's £2 a square. We're trying to raise money for the England boat team going for the World Champs in October. And I'm going to drop in a little section from Alex now.
We've had some prizes donated by We'll Love You Simon himself, Mr. Willsmore. Lovely little, basically a Hydra come Saiwai float set, Ballerini shark, obviously the best float paint on the market, and some sight bristles. So that's going to be one prize. And then friends at Daiwa, Mr. Green has sent some ends on goodies, some hook bait bag, little bait sieve, and double and hooking mat there. So that's another prize. And then what we've done from Tackle and Baits, obviously because Andy's such a nice fella, doesn't mention that he's fishing for the England boat team much, is a product that is quite sort of specialised to the area, and that's a Tournament S 11'6" match rod. I mean, these retail for a considerable amount of money, like $494.99 amount of money. I can, for £2 a ticket, is it Andy? £2 a ticket, this could be yours. So we're going to have all the tickets available in the shop. So next time you're in, it's only £2. It's going to a good cause. You could have a chance of winning a brand spanking new Tournament S match 11'6".
A huge thank you from myself to Alex, Daiwa UK and Simon Willsmore for supplying those prizes. That's incredibly kind of you guys. We're going to have a grid of 500 squares on, so it's £2 a square. If you'd like to buy a square and go into the tackle shop, or obviously more than one square, make sure you put your phone number, or give your phone number to whoever you're buying the square off, so they can write it onto the grid so we can get in contact with you if you win. And also I'm going to set up a PayPal account. If you buy squares off the PayPal account, can you please send me a PM via my messenger? I will keep you on the messenger, and then obviously if you win, I can contact you back directly. £2, guys, you could win top of the range rod. Obviously, you want to contribute more than £2, that'd be fantastic. We're going to try and fill up the 500 squares, and we'll do the draw end of August, probably on one of the podcasts. If we can fill over more than 500, we're going to try and hit 1,000. So a bit of a target for everybody. So get involved, please contribute, and thanks for your help.
And back in the room.
Back in the room. So guys, if you want to contribute, just go into the description. I'll put a link into it's my PayPal or something. You'll see the link anyway. It's pretty obvious. It works because the guys on the other match fishing podcast that we've been doing have been great.
Awesome.
So there's not many squares left, so we've done well. But I thought I'd offer the chance to anybody watching this.
It's not just lure fishing, is it? A lot of people do other bits and pieces.
Yeah.
I don't. But...
Yeah, they do. Yeah. I watched on Facebook the other day the under 15s, under 20s both won gold medals.
Blimey.
In the match in Serbia, I believe.
That's good.
I think the under 25s, they were fourth at one point. I don't know if they came first as well. So that's in the match fishing scene. So that's good, isn't it?
Blimey.
Yeah.
Let's get the lures out there.
Well, let's not talk about match fishing anymore.
No.
Because this is a lure fishing podcast. But just thought I'd get that one off my chest. Right, mate. We thought we needed to get you on because we've only seen you once.
Yeah, I did a little snippet two ago now. something like that. Last
The
one.
last one, I think, about your, was it the micro?
Micro lures, yes.
Shall we start off just delving in why you kind of got that idea?
Yes, so there's two reasons. One is
You need the money.
business sense. Yeah, one's business sense, and the other is that I went to do the Big LERF. So the Big LERF was held down in Weymouth, and it's a big fundraising event, and it's a multi-species hunt. So
Just, yeah, because Charlie pointed this out to me. Well, the first one in the calendar year is a charity event, fundraising, isn't it?
yes, fundraiser. So there's another one coming up. So it's the Big LERF Weekender is coming up in September, and that again that's freshwater and saltwater. So you just go for multi-species. I think last year the most species was in the 30s or 40s on lures.
Wow.
And that's crazy. Even on the unscented lures, I think it was 30 odd or high 20s or 30 species. And so yes, that's why I sort of looked at going smaller for the multi-species people.
So, did this idea come to you before you competed?
No, I competed. Well, I didn't compete. I turned up.
Oh, yeah, you turned up, yeah.
I turned up the night before.
You participated?
Yes, I slept in the car. Just wanted to have a go. So turned up. Such a friendly event. Everybody was friendly. There was no cliques. There was nothing, or not that I noticed anyway. Juniors, adults, all across the board, really helpful, really friendly, and it was there just to have a bit of fun. And it was the whole of Weymouth was open. So you had the harbour, you had one of the piers, and then the estuary, and it was everywhere where you could dangle a line, you could just fish. And something that I know, so I was fishing unscented. So there's two types of LRFing. You've got the scented lures, and you've got unscented lures, and then you've got metals as well. But everyone's kind of going for scented and unscented. The majority fish scented. This are lures in a liquid in the packet, and they're not my cup of tea. So basically, you can put these out and they will get bit, but for some species, it's an absolute necessity. And I was watching these guys, and I think at the time I was watching these guys, and they had like 9 species. I had 3.
So, if they were like, would I be right or wrong in thinking they're kind of like ledgering a piece of plastic that's scented, rather than actually retrieving it,
moving it and inducing a bite? But then you've also got the theory that because of the rigs you're using, so a lot of it is snooded drop shot, and that's what I've noticed. So the actual current is making it move as well. But I'll probably get shouted at for this, but there wasn't a lot of inducing the bite that I could see from the people that I was fishing with. It was chuck it out, there's a bite, and it was that.
What's that thing they like to use? What's it called?
Isomi.
Isomi, yeah.
Isomi. So that's it. So
it's basically just a little bit of plastic, like a bit of elastic band.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I looked at how they make it as well, because that's the kind of geeky stuff I do, and I think it's a cornstarch kind of lure. Because if you don't store it in this sauce, it dries out and it's useless. So it has to remain in this sauce.
Comment section, please, guys, because this is a good talking point. Because personally, I don't think this is lure fishing, but I'm not against it because I don't do it. But that's probably, I wouldn't want to be against.
No, I think
I wouldn't want to fish against it, because to me it's not imparting the movement. But yeah, I'm not right. So put in the comments what you think about this style of lure fishing. That'd be really cool to know what people think.
The good thing about it was that there were actually 2 categories for fishing. So there were people fishing unscented, and there were people fishing.
So this conversation's happened a lot before, hasn't it?
Yeah. And so the guy that won it for the unscented actually caught 3 species. I caught 3 species.
I know this because I saw you in Tesco's.
The guy that won it listened to the briefing at the start. So the picture had to have a picture of the lure in its mouth. So my first fish was a cork wing wrasse. No idea. Someone told me it was. Brilliant. And that was on a drop shot tadpole.
So have you looked into this since?
Yeah, I've been since. Yeah. So the most species in first place on the day was a guy called Will Pender, and he had 12 species.
Is that
this is all
scented?
second was 11, third was 10. And then on the unscented, so the juniors, Callum Moyle got 11 species, Reuben Judge 10 species, Aaron Chambers got 9 species.
In the scented.
In scented, yeah. And then the go down because it's not quite as cool. The unscented category was Nathan Patrick, and he had 3 species. And he had a lure in all of them. See, I didn't realise that 3 was good because I was walking around not knowing anything. And I was like, oh, how many you had? I've had 9. Like, I can have 2. How many you had? I've had 5. Oh, okay, I've had 3 now. And then it wasn't until I got back and someone said, yeah, 3's winning it for the unscented. And that's when I got competitive because, you know, I'm not. And so I went up to the organiser and went, yeah, I hear 3's winning it. Is that me? They went, no. And they went through it. This one's been disallowed because, and the actual, the picture of the wrasse, you couldn't see the lure because it had inhaled it that far. And I was like, oh, well, but win some, you lose some. And actually, that was great, but not taking it away from the guy that did win it.
The question is, was he using FFS lures?
Who, me or the other guy?
No, you.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
What did you catch the rash on? The rash?
The rash.
The rash.
I stuck with tadpoles all day long. Yeah, tadpole drop shot, caught the wrasse, and then tadpole on a tiny little 2 gram cheb caught the pouting and pollock.
How big was the wrasse?
Only small, but it's species. It's the amount of species, so it doesn't matter how.
Yeah, I
big
suppose
they are.
so.
So it's just getting it, and the Bailey. Sorry, I will say what this is. So Bailey actually found this wrasse. So he dropped in off the pier and said, "Oh, there's a wrasse here," and it kept up nibbling his bait because it's scented and it was nibbling. He should have used an FFS, and he fished for this fish for quite some time. And it kept coming out and nibbling, and when he walked off, I went, "I'll have a go." And within sort of 30 seconds of just slack lining and lifting and just my normal drop shot technique, I went, fish on. He wasn't happy.
Good skills.
But it was good fun. Yeah, I would have gone home early. So credit to Bailey. He sort of said, "No, let's keep going, let's go round." And if it wasn't for him,
It's Bailey Payne, isn't it?
yeah. If it wasn't for him finding these fish and saying, "Look, just try there," I wouldn't have had 3 species. I'd have had like 1 species, but still been happy because I've never done it before.
It sounds like you enjoyed it.
It's brilliant.
So off that spawned the
micro lures. So looking at it and doing a bit more research, everything I had for the multi-species, like your little gobies and things like that, was too big. Even the 40mm craws that I have, which are my tiny lures for wasps, too big. So I thought, I don't want to be carving these or making these out of aluminium, because to drop that lure down, I'm already at the extremities of 1mm and 0.5mm drill bits. If I'm going to do this at that intricate detail, it's going to be 0.2mm drill bits, and you don't even know they've broken. So it's something I don't even want to do. So I've 3D printed the molds. So that's how I'm going to do it. I'm having a few issues with the molds at the moment, so I've got to change the orientation of them. But yeah, so that's what is going to happen. So these little 20mm Craw 21s, they are tiny. They are size 14 hook size. They're not even the size of your thumbnail.
Isn't that amazing? So entering that has spawned all this. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. And so I'm going to do that. And the K2, I'm going to try and shrink that one down. I've already sent some out to the guys that know, and they're like, yeah, these are great. These are brilliant. So that's where I'm going with it.
That is brilliant, Tom. And you've been.
I went to Harwich.
Did you?
So in our area, there are some very there are not a lot of marks for LRF, because there just isn't. Our coastline is just a sandy beach, isn't it? You might be able to do some rock pooling down at Hunt Stanton. I might have a go at that when the tide's out. But again, Bailey, we met up down at Harwich, Halfpenny Pier, and he had a wrasse, which he's not sure, but it might be the first lure caught wrasse that he knows of off of the Essex coast. It might be the first, it might be the second, we don't know, but it's not. It's one of those things that isn't a big thing people
I
don't
know
do
a man
it.
who would know this irrelevant crap.
I think that he said that it's not quite the first, but it's definitely,
What, Coppola?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he
definitely up
knows
there.
all this.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
definitely up
how
there.
do you know that?
Yeah, and my first fish was a goby, and it was a bloody big goby too. As gobies go, and so yeah, and that's and all because it's on my lures that I make, and I'm not used to doing this. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun. So I think I had 2 species that day, which is cool.
Personally, I couldn't do this.
No, no,
But I do kind of see the attraction.
it's something different.
Yeah.
So once we spoke about your fishing not too long ago, and I know you hit a block, didn't you, where it's like, what am I going to do? And then you sort of changed your mindset a little bit and went, I like it again.
Yes.
I think you went chop fishing. I think that's what changed it around. You went,
It's last summer, was it?
yeah, last summer, and you went chop fishing for a bit, which took you away from
just
bobbing on the boat.
just top water all the time.
Yeah,
I think it was no. It's also it was it was just I could see how restricted the lure fishing scene, boat fishing is in this country. So complete reset. Got the kayak. Didn't enjoy that. No, I do enjoy it, but something hurts in my back.
Yeah.
3 or 4 hours of pedaling, it kills me, which is not enjoyable. So if I do 2 days, the next day I'm out of the equation totally. I am a hashtag boat wanker.
we know.
I know. That's the way I am. So I thought, do you know what? Don't actually try and not do what you're born to
embrace
do.
it.
Just embrace it and
Embrace it.
go big.
Yeah, bigger.
So plans to go bigger, but that's for a conversation further down the line. Mate, I think this is amazing because
Well, that LRF as well. So that it's a fundraiser, and so there are 100 people. I can't remember how much it cost us, but they raised money for prostate cancer and 2 more charities. So that's what it was all about.
how many of these guys lure fish on rivers?
Oh, it's quite a few. It's quite a few. It was if I look
Would I
at,
know any from the comp scene?
yeah, I don't know about the comp scene, but let me see if I can
Because
find.
that's quite incredible. 100 guys have turned up for this, or anglers.
Well, it was capped at 100.
So there would have been more.
There would have been more. It was capped at 100. I mean, I think there were about 105 in total, but it was meant to be capped at 100. But
So when organisers are struggling to get people for competitions, actually, for the right type of comp,
the right type of comp.
there's a lot of demand out there.
So the species caught, they were pouting pollock, black goby, rock goby, cork-ring wrasse, tompot blenny, common blenny, black bream, ballon wrasse, gold sinny wrasse, sand goby, long spine sea scorpion, sand spelt, common goby, common dragonnet, black-faced blenny, Balian's wrasse, Connemara, clingfish, leopard spotted gobish, and 1 snake pipefish. And that was an amazing little fish. It's just, yeah. Also tidying up, so the crab nets that get left there by holiday makers, they were being dragged out and binned. So it's a really good,
That is
a
good,
really
isn't it?
good thing. So
Yeah.
the guys at the Big LERF, big up to you. It was a great day out, and ignited something in me.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So what are you doing the next one?
I am not going to do the weekender, but I'm heading down to the coast because I've been invited for another podcast, and so I'll be doing another podcast. I know, but on the 7th and 8th, and then on the 8th, I'm going to meet up with a load of FFS customers down in Paynton,
That is cool.
in Devon.
That is good.
I think it's Devon. I hope it is.
That is good. I like that because it's got the old grey matter going. You saw something and you just thought I could design something that.
Yeah, and it's just at the moment I've taken my original designs and dropping those down in size because on the software I can just scale them down. But actually, I can do more designs as well and have them in there. So I think this is going to be me going into shops as well, because the packaging can be different. The reason I don't do it now with what I do is because of the packaging, but because they're so tiny, they're not going to get deformed in these packets. So I've got to do that. And I'm going to add LRF stuff to the website as well.
This is incredible. What a journey you were on.
It's huge. This year's just gone. Which way are you going? That way. Somewhere. Where you
Oh,
can end.
Tom, that's mate. That is cool. That is such a. That's really because I won't go into detail, but 2 or 3 years ago, you were very much just one-dimensional, weren't you?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And now
FPS
you've gone all
levels.
over the place. It's amazing how it's just grown. I think it's just
Yeah.
incredible. Right, I tell you what, I'll do. Before we get on to the next topic, I think we need to have Bradley on.
I think we should see what he's been up to.
Yeah, everyone will know if they watch this. I rigorously watch the videos that guys send in, Bradley and Charlie or yourself. So last episode I said he's got a new lure for us. Actually, it wasn't.
It wasn't. What was the
No,
price?
it was a rig. It was a jig hook. So I'm not going to lie,
Don't know what he's got.
because we're recording this before we sent it in. So let's go to Bradley anyway.
Right, I've got something a little different for you today. I've got the Headbanger Banger Ribs. This is in the Bleeding Ghost colour and the gold head colour, which we all know where that inspiration's come from. Classic colour. And then these are made to be paired with the rocker heads. So I've got one rigged up here on the head. As you can see, it's got that weedless hook at the back that rigs up through the hollow body, keeping it nice and weedless. It's got the hook slot on top to keep it out the way so you're not tearing up a bunch of plastic. Then at the front, if I can show you here close up, it's almost like a scooped, so it's going to almost rise slightly as you retrieve it, so you have to base the weight a little bit heavier than you normally would, because the scoop here is designed to rock about, kind of like a bladed jig, kind of like a chatterbait. So you're getting that hybrid of like a almost like a cheb. If you left it on the ground, you've got that sort of cheb action mixed in with a chatterbait action, and I really think it proves for a deadly combo. An extra benefit of these is that currently there's not a huge amount of people using them, at least not from what I've seen. So they are extra effective because the fish aren't used to seeing it. They see it, obviously they see a lot of other brands, shads and stuff, getting thrown out left, right, centre because they're everywhere. These are quite fresh to the UK, and not a lot of fish have seen them. So get on them. The Headbanger Banger Ribs and the rocker heads. Check them out.
Bradders, thanks for that.
Thank you. It was a surprise.
Don't give away how we do this.
No.
Because this is like well thought out
It's well thought out, but
and rehearsed.
there's a team of guys behind the scenes that are just producing content.
Yeah, that's why
And,
you're busy.
and you can trust it.
Yeah, we can. Can trust it. Yeah, that's the nice thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's all about Tom.
It's all about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next thing. So last weekend, this will come out 2 weeks after the event, a week and a half. But
Yes.
it was the
week-
PITSFORD Grand Slam.
Yeah, the weekend of the 10th and the 11th. PITSFORD Kayak Grand Slam Back to Basics 2024.
That's a long title.
That's a long title. And so this event, this is my third time of being part of the sponsor team. But this time, I was like one of the lead sponsors. And my role was to put so the PITSFORD Kayak Grand Slam is a kayak competition on Pitsford over 2 days, and no electronics. That's motors or graphs. You can't even use navionics on your phone.
You can't take a chart, nothing.
No chart, no nothing. And the only stuff you can use is what's been provided. So you're left. It levels the playing field. It really does level the playing field. So you're given a set amount of lures provided by me this year, and Westin. So Tom Hunt helped me out with that, and he got me. He sponsored it via the Westin side, and that's it. So if you lose it, it's gone.
Yeah.
You don't get any more.
So basically, you can take your rods and traces,
Yep.
but you can't use hooks, weights,
Yeah.
or lures.
Limited to 3 rods.
Yes.
Limited
You
to
can come in
3
and
rods as
change
well.
your rod, can't you?
Yeah, you come in and change and whatever. But yeah, so your traces and your swivels and everything else, that's you take your own, but everything else is provided. And this year, what did I provide? So we had Westin ball tees, rigged and ready. That was aimed at the pike. Then I also had a nice 25-gram spoon, which I sort of aimed towards the pike guys. And then the intermediate, there's a Westin Shad Tee Slim Stanley Stickleback and then I started with my bigger stuff, so Core 21, K2, FFS, and I'm trying to picture the box in my head. No, that was it. So I did 2 colours. I did Oh Yeah Gold, so a nice shiny gold colour, and Green Pumpkin. And then for the smaller stuff, so there's no size on these fish. So, you know, a 9cm perch counts. It's just about filling your card. So I did the smaller Core 21, K2, and Finesse Fluke as well. Added some HTO drop shot hooks, some Owlsey bombs. So Owlsey bombs. So some bombs. A lot of people say, oh, there's not enough drop shot weights. It's like, why would you want a drop shot weight that might fall off? Let's tie that on, because once you lose it, it's gone. So my thinking is, what are you going to do? Yeah, tie that on. You don't need a drop shot weight. And that was it. So I've actually got the results.
Cool.
Here. And have I?
Are the Western baits you put in the box available on the FFS website?
Not all of them, but they will be.
That because actually I just clicked. That's a very nice.
Yeah, it
collab.
was a great collab, because these guys, I put a survey out. So this is something that probably doesn't happen in all the comps. I've actually put a survey out with Dane, who organised it. So he's the man behind it. And we put a survey out to all the competitors, because he wants to improve. Every time you want to improve it, don't you? And one of the comments that I've seen already is, oh, I wish there was more paddle tails. I'm not a paddle tail guy. I'm a creature guy. But these guys, they want more paddle tails, so that's something for next year. I'll chuck more creatures in. But the winner was, so it was 3 perch, 2 pike, 1 trout. And then if you got that, you got an extra 100 centimetres added on. So the person that won it, and it's actually 2nd year in a row, was Mark Radcliffe, and he won it with 406 centimetres. Next was AJ Finch, who's a young lad, 7th time on a kayak, 2nd competition, and he came 2nd with 366 centimetres.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then your man Tibby from the England squad, he came 3rd.
Well, Mark Radcliffe is the England captain.
He's England captain.
We need
yeah.
to say that first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then Tibby.
So AJ split them.
AJ split them.
Yeah, that's
AJ
good.
came in. So that's the nice thing. It did level the playing field. So you got 2 England guys, and then a lad in the middle that is a newbie. Wasn't even his kayak. He borrowed it. So there you go. That's how great it is. So it's one of those things that I'm looking to be quite a big part of in years to come, because I think it's great that the people there, it's all about the trophy at the end. It's not about the prizes, but there are prizes for biggest perch, biggest pike, all the others. Spirit of the comp. There's also a Spirit of the Comp prize, and the lad that won it this year, he didn't catch a fish until the last half hour of the 2nd day, but he stayed. Many people we know would be doing that badly and just go home, but he stayed, and that's pretty much the Spirit of the Comp.
Yeah.
And also people helped him as well.
So I know Dane organised this, and I know Ian Pickering's a lot to do with it as
Yeah.
well. Is it On Top Angling that organises it? Or
On
is
the
it
top, it's Dane and Ian that pretty much do it. On the top, Dane guides are on the top, doesn't
Yeah.
but it really it's a standalone.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, standalone. So this year it was Lawrence, Railblazer, myself, Westin, Trocar, and I think that might have been it. Oh, sorry if there's another sponsor. I'm very bad at that.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Find out, drop it in.
That's good though, isn't it? That is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was meant to do the Saturday.
Navionics.
I was meant to do, I can only do one day.
Yeah.
I was going to gender reveal. Not revealing my own gender, but that's been a joke thrown at me as well the last week. On the Saturday, I ended up in A&E for 4 hours. But not for myself. I won't go into detail. Mate, I had a very bizarre...
That's a hell of a weekend.
Yeah, actually, it was a good job I did pull out on Saturday, because it was like, wow. But there we go.
Wow.
So, to be honest with you, I could only fish one day. I didn't really want to do it, because you can't fish both days. And I just would feel... I'm so bad in a kayak, without even knowing where I was without a chart.
Well, the guy that took your spot, it was his first time. And so he did pretty well.
He'd have done far better than I would have done.
Yeah.
Because after 2 or 3 hours, I'd have gone, oh, my back. Oh, I need to go in. Yeah.
But it's nice because I've never been out on Pitsford, so actually being part of the team, we went out because a few of the rules, like stay away from the causeway tunnel, 50 metres off of that, 50 metres off of the tower, 50 metres off the dam, but also just going out and chatting to the guys and doing welfare checks because it's bloody hot.
Yeah.
Bloody hot the second day. It's really nice. That's my suntan there.
Oh,
You might
hence
see
the
that.
line. Yeah.
Yeah, hence the line.
You were complaining about that earlier with the screen, weren't you? Yeah. Isn't that great that FFS lures are involved with lots of different things?
I'm just opening up there. Like you said earlier, that a few years ago, I was very blinkered because it was a baby. It had to be protected. It had to be protected and grown.
Had to be, yeah.
But now that's sort of, it's getting out there as a name. There's some England stuff as well that's just coming through. But,
Do you want to mention that? Or?
yeah.
Before you do, I just noticed something, mate. We did this in the other podcast. Look, the chair's in the way. Just there.
Oh, look at that. Oh, you can crop that out.
I'll crop it out. Yeah. We had this, we tech difficulties, mate. I think it's there's some of the heat.
Yeah.
The Kraken hasn't helped.
No.
No.
It's okay for me. I've been drinking far too much recently, so I'm immune to it.
Right. I don't know if you want to mention this. This is a really cool idea.
Yeah, so I got a message from one of the England street team members, and one of the things that happens at your championships is that there's a gift given at the end from the teams to the other teams, team members, managers, assistant managers, and I've been asked to provide that if I can, and to have it as FFS lures because, quote, they're homegrown lures made in England.
And you like that, don't you?
I like that. All I've ever wanted is recognition for what I do. I don't need anyone to big me up for that don't like me or anything like that. But if I'm doing something, that's all I want is that little bit of recognition. Just to say, that's a good job.
So England bank team guys, Tom's busy working out how he can help you out.
Yep,
that'd be really cool. And this is a big R. So those that don't know, it's the number it's the number of teams, which I think there's 14 teams in the bank.
14, yeah.
So it's 13 teams because the England guys don't need anything. And
obviously, I'll be helping them out if they want any lures as
it's
well.
It's the squad. It's the other team's squads plus their manager and assistant manager. So it's a big number.
It's a big number.
It's well over 100.
I'll warm the microwaves up.
Yeah, you're going to be not sleeping.
I've just had to buy new microwaves. They finally gave up. Finally gave up. Yeah, Pinky and Perky are done.
You used to have to get the doors remended, didn't you? The latches.
Yeah, it was the doors. It was nothing technically wrong, just mechanically. Just
did the doors give out this time?
Yeah, doors.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was doing all the lures for the PITSFORD Grand Slam, which was, again, it was 3 lures for 40 people in so many different patterns. So that was like 6 hours per colour, and halfway through the second colour, it died. So I had to go to Cody's PC World and get bent over for some new microwaves. So yeah, but they're good. They're swish.
I'll tell you what, mate. It's the UK lure scene needs more people like you. And I'm not saying this because you're here, because it frustrates the living bejesus out of me when you try and get people to help. It's like you've asked them to donate a kidney or something, but you see it completely differently. You see it like I see it. Whereas if we increase the size of the cake, not the increase of the size of the slice you have, your slice increases, but it's more fun because you collaborate with so many people, and you have been brilliant. You're a small company that's helping out so many facets of the sport. So the bigger companies need to lift their game.
Yeah,
they do, and there's no excuse really.
Yeah, there's. I'm quite unique. I'm quite unique in what I do because I do design and make my own. So I've gone that extra step. But I'm also quite new. There's not many that do it full time, and this is my job.
I mean, your mindset's different. Your mindset is about growing the sport.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I just think these bigger companies, they're looking at sales figures rather than short term, rather than actually long term.
Yeah, I think that the bigger companies are driven by their board members, and their board members aren't anglers.
I just think it's a target-driven environment, and sometimes you've got to look 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 years down the line, not this month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the same conversation with a company I was at recently, and they're developing that same mindset as yourself. In Japan, a lot of companies have a 200-year business plan, don't they?
Yeah.
They know it's going to take that long to get it going. And I think lure fish in this country, we need a bit more solidity and companies helping out a bit more. I know you're my mate and you sat here, I'm very biased, but it's been amazing what you've done.
Thank you.
It is.
Thank you.
It is. It's fantastic. Before we finish, Mr. Coppolo.
Yeah, I wonder what he's got for us.
Well, he's like me. I think we've become August barbecue and beach bums.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what I did speak to him on the phone. He hasn't been fishing much. He lost a big perch.
Oh.
Yeah, biggest perch he's ever seen.
He hasn't seen that many, has he?
No, it was angler's tail.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it got away.
He got away. Yeah, at the landing net.
At the net too.
Yes.
So it saw it and everything.
They thought it was in the net. The net got caught. The jig got caught in the net, and the perch flipped. So I'm hoping he's got something big to show us.
Well, when Andy phoned me and said, could I do a little bit for this month's podcast, I was a bit stuck as what to do, because the reality of it is I'm not doing a hell of a lot of lure fishing. I am dipping in and out, not really doing much. I've done a few early mornings here and there, but when it gets really hot like this, I do sort of lose the love for it a little bit for this time of year. Actually, right now I'm out bait fishing on the river for barbel and chub, just to sort of break up my week more than anything and just do something a little bit different. But I promised Andy I would do a bit for the podcast, so here I am. And really, I just wanted to open a discussion. You know, what do you guys do this time of year when, you know, it's warm, nothing's really fishing that well? What do you do? Do you go sort of for small stuff on the canals? Do you go on saltwater? You know, I really should do more saltwater fishing, and I don't. There's loads going on near me at the moment. I just can't. You know what it's like when you get into the habit of doing something else is a real task. And having to dig out all the different gear. But the one thing I have been doing, and I wanted to sort of discuss it very quickly, is a lot of topwater fishing. It still seems to me that topwater fishing is sort of the non-spoken about taboo of UK freshwater lure fishing. It's something not a lot of people do or have done, and even those that do sort of dabble in it don't have loads of confidence. Now, for me, as soon as that water gets to a point where those fish are really active, so sort of May time, it's pretty much all I want to use. And I think the key is confidence. You know, I really enjoy it. And even if I don't catch any fish, just seeing the blow-ups is enough for me. But I'm also supremely confident in it. And I think that's my point. What I want to sort of get across is this time of year, if you are going out for a couple of hours here and there, I highly, highly, highly recommend just getting on top waters for chub, for perch, for pike, if the water sort of allows for it in temperature and oxygen levels. There's plenty of good fishing to be had. And I just want to quickly run through a few of my favourite sort of styles of top waters, and there's a few that you can sort of put into different brackets, and you can use your favourite brand, your favourite model, your favourite sizes and colours, but I was just going to give a very quick sort of breakdown into 3 categories of the things that I like to use. And firstly, we're going to have walk the dog style lures. Now this is my go-to. This is a sort of stick bait shaped lure that will sort of go from side to side as you work it with the rod tip, and you have to impart the action on that lure. And for me, that's a great bait to sort of cover a lot of water fairly quickly, and it does trigger takes from perch, pike and chub, and you just adjust the size of your bait accordingly. And there's different variations. You have silent versions, ones with sort of loud rattles, but use your sort of fishing knowledge and what you know of the fish in the water and sort of adapt to what you want. The second type is sort of, I'm going to call them stop-start, but realistically, for the most part, it's going to be popper style lures. So popper style lures I find really, really handy when you're fishing around cover or amongst weed, but you still want to fish with exposed hooks. You can just pop, and let it sit, and very often it's on that pause where you're going to get that take. So if you've got holes in weeds or lily pads and things like that, or even sort of around structure like rocks and trees and anything that may hold fish, that's what I would be using, a stop-start type lure, so a popper, or even, if you're brave enough, a frog style lure. Now, frogs are a little bit sort of not everyone's favourite here in the UK, because fish don't feed like largemouth bass, which is what the frog style lures were, or fish in our country don't feed like largemouth bass, which is what the frog lures were designed for. You can get away with it, but if you're fishing for perch with frog style lures, you need to step up your gear a little bit, because you really need I won't say a heavy rod, but a very fast action rod to sort of drive those heavy wire, heavy gauge hooks home. pike get away with it a little bit more, but then you start talking about using wire and things like that, and you impede the action. It will work, but we're making it work. For me, for that stop style lure, type lure, I'm going to be using poppers, some form, be it a hard style popper or even, you know, a soft bait style popper like the Z-Man pop shads or something like that. And the third type is another one I throw quite a lot, is sort of what I call a straight retrieve topwater, something like a whopper plopper. My favourite is the Headbanger Spitfire, something like that. That is you don't have to impart any action with the rod, just turning the reel will make the lure do what you want. You know, a prop style bait or a buzz bait or something like that, that is much more aggressive, much louder. You're looking for fish that are really, really actively feeding with that style lure. So if it were me, you know, and you're just getting into topwater fishing, they're the three type of baits that I'd want to fill my box with. A walk the dog or a pencil type lure, a stop style or a popper style lure, and then a straight retrieve. So something you can just chuck out and wind back. That should cover pretty much all of your topwater fishing for UK freshwater stuff. Hopefully, unlike me, you may feel a bit more inspired to go out and do a bit of lure fishing now, and I'll see you back on the banks when it gets a little bit cooler.
So, next podcast, guys, it will be, we'll have to drop in the summary of Lake Challenge Part 2. So myself and Charlie, we're currently in 8th place, but placings are a bit immaterial because...
Well, it's all to play for, isn't it,
it's
really?
all to play for.
What did you target more on that first one?
Whatever came across first.
Whatever came across first, just smash it and do as well as
We
you
filled
can.
our pike and zander cards. So I think
There you go.
we've got the second longest pike card and we've got the fourth longest zander card at the minute. So we have 5 perch to fill our card.
And where is this one?
This is Rutland.
Oh.
And the perch are very... If you find them, they're very easy to catch, but finding them is very difficult. So if we can get 5 big perch, we're well in the money. So obviously we're defending champions. So we've had a couple of little chats about how we're roughly going to do it before we've done any practice. So by the time this podcast comes out, it will be done and dusted. So
We shall see.
We'll be sitting there with a big cake again,
Oh, no cake.
or going,
Well, let's hope it's the former.
well, if we can get over
Get some
7
cake.
metres again and combine total length and get top 3, I'll be happy because we didn't get any kicker fish. Another 2 or 3 teams got some big fish as kickers, and so that's what's letting us down. We had 113 pike, which is big, but we didn't get any big zander. We specifically fished shallow to catch bigger zander.
And that was at Grafton.
That was at Rutland.
Oh, that's at Grafton
Yeah.
as well.
So traditionally they're always around the shallow water, but it was a weird spring, and these big fish just weren't playing ball. So our tactics didn't pay off, as in the big fish. But no one caught big zander really, apart from Gints and Dennis. They had an 85 shallow, really shallow. So it could have paid off, but it didn't. So we need to also think about a zander card as well. But we'll see what happens. So yes,
It happens. I've
That'd be
got
fun.
confidence.
Oh, I'm really confident that we can do well. I mean, we might struggle to win it, but I think we can do really well. But obviously, we're going to go for the win first and just see what happens. So that will be interesting.
See what happens.
See what happens. Tom, brilliant.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much.
Well,
Appreciate it.
You're part of the podcast team, but I think it was nice just to have you on.
Yeah, I've been stuck in a hot hole.
No, I think it's good that but guys can see someone who's its mortgage payments depend upon the lures
Yes,
being
they
filled.
do. Yes,
And
they
the
do.
way you go about trying to promote your company by actually putting yourself out there and attending different facets of the sport, I think is really good. And that's the only way you make, in any genre, the only way your company can grow, isn't it?
It is.
Being aware of what's out there. And the fact that you've embraced it and developing new lures off it, I think is amazing.
Thank you.
Right, so before we go, we've got one final thing to say. We either be sensible and just... Or do we go have a pint? So
Gonna have a pint.
Yeah, we're going to go for a pint. So this could end in disaster. See you all later.
Toodles.